Christ, not again, someone mutters, a woman in diamonds and designer silk. They really should screen their staff better, another voice adds, dripping with disdain. Thea's vision blurs. She blinks hard, forcing back tears as a shard of crystal bites into her palm. Blood wells up, bright red against her pale skin, but she doesn't stop. She can't stop. This job is all she has left since her mother's medical bills swallowed everything. The house, the savings, any hope of the college fund she'd been building since she was 16. Leave it. The voice cuts through the whispers like a blade through silk. Deep, commanding, the kind of voice that doesn't ask. It simply expects obedience. Thea's head snaps up. Before we continue, please prove my mom wrong. She says I can't hit 1,000 subscribers. Okay, let's continue. He's standing 3 feet away, and the breath catches in her throat. Tall doesn't begin to describe him. He has the kind of presence that makes the massive ballroom feel intimate, makes the crowd of Seattle's elite fade into insignificance. His suit is midnight black, tailored so precisely it must have been sewn directly onto his body. Dark hair swept back from a face that belongs in museums, all sharp angles and dangerous beauty. But it's his eyes that pin her in place. Pale gray, almost silver, with an intensity that makes her feel like he's reading every secret she's ever kept. I said leave it, he repeats, softer this time. He extends a hand. Thea stares at it. His fingers are long, elegant, and she notices he's wearing a ring, a heavy silver piece with a symbol she doesn't recognize carved into black stone. Something about it makes her skin prickle. Sir, I can clean this up, You're bleeding. She glances down at her palm. The cut is deeper than she thought. Blood drips onto the broken crystal, mixing with champagne. It's nothing really, I'm so sorry about the glass. I'll pay for it. I can have it deducted from Take my hand. It's not a request, but there's something in his tone. Not cruelty, but rather an almost amused exasperation, like he's dealing with a stubborn child who doesn't know what's good for her. Thea places her uninjured hand in his. The moment their skin touches, something electric shoots up her arm. He pulls her to her feet with effortless strength, steadying her when she wobbles in the sensible flats she bought at a thrift store. His hand is cool against her skin, and up close, she notices he smells like cedar and something darker, richer, like old books and winter nights. What's your name? He asks. Thea Morrison. His mouth curves into something that might be a smile, but there's no warmth in it. Thea, I'm Adrian Castellane. The name lands like a stone in her stomach. Adrian Castellane. Even she, working double shifts and too exhausted to follow society news, knows that name. The Castellane Group owns half of downtown Seattle. Hotels, restaurants, tech companies, real estate. And if the whispered rumors among the hotel staff are true, Adrian Castellane himself is something else entirely. Something not quite human. Oh God, she breathes. You're the owner. I'm so sorry, Mr. Castellane. I didn't mean to. You didn't do anything wrong. His eyes narrow slightly, scanning the ballroom. Where's your manager? Please don't. I need this job. I'm not firing you, Thea. The way he says her name makes something flutter in her chest. I'm going to have someone look at your hand, and then you're going to tell me something. She blinks. Tell you what? He leans down close enough that she can see the subtle ring of darkness around his pale irises. Close enough that his breath, surprisingly warm, brushes against her ear. You're going to tell me why you've been watching Vincent Harrow all evening, like you're trying to memorize his face. Thea's heart stops. Vincent Harrow. The man in the corner booth, the one with the practiced smile and expensive watch who's been holding court with Adrian's business associates for the past hour. The man she's been building up courage to approach all night, knowing what she knows, terrified of the consequences. I don't know what you mean, she stammers. Adrian pulls back just enough to look at her. Really look at her. His gaze is so intense she feels stripped bare, like he can see through her skin to the frantic hammering of her heart. "Don't lie to me," he says quietly. "You're terrible at it." And then he does something that shocks her more than anything else. He takes her injured hand, still bleeding, and wraps it carefully in his pocket square. The fabric is silk, probably worth more than her entire week's pay. He holds her hand gently, applying just enough pressure to stop the bleeding, and the gesture is so unexpectedly tender that her eyes start to burn again. "I'll make you a deal," Adrian says, his voice dropping lower. "You tell me what you know about Vincent, and I'll make sure you never have to worry about cleaning up broken glass for people who don't deserve to breathe the same air as you. Does that sound fair?" Thea's mind races. This is insane. She's nobody. A waitress drowning in debt, working 3 jobs, living in a studio apartment with water damage, and a landlord who's been threatening eviction for 2 months. Why would Adrian Castellane, a man who could buy and sell her entire existence without blinking, care about anything she has to say? But then she remembers what she overheard 3 nights ago, the conversation she wasn't supposed to hear when she was restocking supplies in the private dining room. Vincent Harrow's voice, cold and calculated, discussing removing obstacles and accelerated timelines. The other man mentioning the old bloodlines won't accept it, and Vincent replying, "They won't have a choice once he's gone." She takes a shaky breath. Can we talk somewhere private?" Something flashes in Adrian's eyes. Approval, maybe. Or hunger. "Yes," he says. "We can." He doesn't let go of her hand as he leads her through the crowd. People part for him automatically, their conversations dying mid-sentence. The woman in diamonds who made the snide comment about staff actually takes a step back, her face going pale. Adrian doesn't even glance at her. They exit through a service door that leads to a private corridor. The sounds of the gala fade behind them, replaced by their footsteps on plush carpet. Adrian guides her to an elevator with a panel that requires a keycard. He pulls one from his jacket, black and unmarked, and swipes it. The doors open immediately. Inside, the elevator is all dark wood and soft lighting. It smells like him, that cedar and winter scent. He finally releases her hand to press a button marked P, which she assumes means penthouse. "You're going to tell me I'm paranoid," Thea says, staring at their reflection in the polished doors. She looks small next to him, washed out, like a moth standing beside a falcon. "You're going to think I'm making things up. Try me." The elevator rises silently. Thea watches the numbers climb. 10, 15, 20. 3 nights ago, I was working the private dining room on the 14th floor. Vincent Harrow was there with another man. I didn't see his face, but he had a voice like gravel. They were talking about removing you, not from the company, from everything, permanently. Adrian's expression doesn't change, but she feels the temperature in the elevator drop by several degrees. "Go on." "They mentioned old bloodlines, acceptance, something about a timeline being moved up because of the gathering next month. And Vincent said," her voice wavers, "he said, once Adrian Castellane is dead, the opposition will crumble. They need their king to feel safe. Take him away, and they'll fall in line." The elevator reaches the penthouse. The doors slide open with a soft chime that sounds absurdly cheerful, given what she just said. Adrian steps out first, his movements fluid and controlled. "King," he repeats softly. How very dramatic of Vincent. "I know how it sounds," Thea says quickly, following him into a sprawling living space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Seattle skyline. "I know you probably think I'm crazy, or trying to, I don't know, get attention or something, but I swear I heard what I heard. And tonight, when I saw him down there, talking to all those people, I couldn't let him. Breathe, Thea." She realizes she's hyperventilating. Adrian is suddenly in front of her, his hands on her shoulders, steadying her. The touch is grounding, even though his fingers are cool through her uniform. "I believe you," he says. What?" "I believe you." His thumb traces a small circle on her collarbone, a gesture that seems unconscious. Vincent has been positioning himself for a power play for months. I've been waiting to see what form his ambition would take. Apparently, assassination is his preferred method. Thea's mind struggles to process his calmness. Aren't you worried? About Vincent? Adrian's smile is sharp enough to draw blood. No, but I am curious about you. Me. You overheard something that could get you killed. Vincent doesn't leave loose ends. Yet instead of running, instead of pretending you heard nothing, you spent 3 days working up the courage to warn me. Why? The question catches her off guard. Why did she? Any sane person would have kept their mouth shut, would have convinced themselves they misunderstood, would have done literally anything except get involved in what sounds like a corporate assassination plot. Because it's wrong, she says finally, and because you, when I dropped that glass, you didn't look at me like I was garbage. You didn't laugh. Everyone else did, but you didn't. Something shifts in Adrian's face. The dangerous edge softens, just slightly, and for a moment he looks almost human, almost vulnerable. Such a simple reason, he murmurs. Such a good reason. He releases her shoulders and moves to a bar cart in the corner. Crystal decanters filled with amber and ruby liquids catch the light. He pours 2 glasses of something dark red. Wine, she hopes, and returns, offering her one. I can't. I'm still on shift, Thea protests weakly. You were on shift. Consider yourself transferred to my personal security detail. Effective, immediately. Your what? Drink. He touches his glass to hers. You're going to need it for what comes next. Thea takes a sip. It's not wine. The liquid is thicker, sweeter, with an almost metallic undertone. But it warms her from the inside out, chasing away the lingering adrenaline tremors. What is this? She asks. A very old vintage, family recipe. Adrian settles onto a leather sofa, watching her with those unsettling silver eyes. Now, let me tell you a story, Thea Morrison. Let me tell you what Vincent Harrow is really plotting to kill, and why your warning might have just saved more than my life. Outside the windows, the city glitters like scattered diamonds, and as Adrian begins to speak, his voice low and hypnotic, revealing truths about bloodlines and immortality and a hidden world that exists in the shadows of the one she knows, Thea realizes that her ordinary, struggling, desperate life just ended. Something else is beginning. Something dark and dangerous and entirely unknown. Adrian doesn't ease her into the truth. He doesn't sugarcoat it or couch it in metaphors. He simply says, I'm a vampire, Thea. I've been alive for 643 years, and I rule the Pacific Northwest Territory as king of my bloodline. Vincent is one of my kind, younger, ambitious, and apparently tired of waiting for me to either step down or die. Since neither is likely to happen naturally, he's decided to accelerate the process. Thea sits very still on the chair across from him. Her not wine, something else, don't think about what else, sits untouched in her hand now. You think I'm insane, Adrian observes. I think I'm insane, she corrects. I think I'm having a breakdown. My mom died 6 months ago, and I never processed it, and now I'm hallucinating in a penthouse with a man who thinks he's... Look at me. She does. She can't help it. Adrian's eyes begin to change. The silver brightens to an almost luminescent shade, and the pupils narrow to slits like a cat's. His lips part slightly, revealing teeth that are now very definitely not human. Elongated canines, sharp as surgical blades designed for one purpose. Thea's glass slips from her fingers. This time, Adrian catches it before it can fall. He's moved so fast she didn't even see him leave the sofa. One moment he was sitting 5 feet away, the next he's crouched in front of her, the glass safely in his hand, his transformed face inches from hers. Breathe, he says again, and his voice has taken on a resonant quality, like it's coming from somewhere deeper than his throat. Breathe, Thea. I won't hurt you. I have never hurt an innocent in all my years, and I'm not starting now. This isn't real, she whispers. This can't be real. You know it is. You knew something was different about me the moment we touched. Didn't you? He sets the glass aside and takes her hands, both of them this time, cradling them gently. Humans always know, on some instinctive level. Your subconscious recognizes predator, but your conscious mind refuses to accept it because it defies everything you've been taught about how the world works. Thea's thoughts spin uselessly, but even through the shock, something clicks into place. The staff rumors, she breathes, about you never eating at your own restaurants, about how you're never seen during the day, about how people who cross you sometimes just disappear. Mostly propaganda, Adrian says, and his face shifts back to human as she watches. The fangs recede, the eyes fade to their normal silver. I eat, just not food. I conduct most business at night because it's preferable, but I can tolerate daylight. It's merely uncomfortable. And I don't make people disappear. I simply make them irrelevant. There's a difference. This is insane, Thea says, but her hands haven't left his. Haven't even tried to pull away. Yes, Adrian agrees. It is. And it's about to get worse. He stands, bringing her with him, and guides her to the windows. The city sprawls below them, oblivious. Thousands of people going about their lives, completely unaware that monsters are real. Vincent isn't just planning to kill me, Adrian says. He's planning a coup. The old bloodlines, families that have existed since before written history, maintain a careful balance. We each control territories, and we enforce rules that keep humans safe. No mass killings, no exposure. No turning humans without permission from the council. These laws are absolute. They're why most humans live their entire lives without ever encountering one of us. Most, Thea echoes faintly. Vincent believes these laws are outdated. He wants to return to the old ways, when vampires were gods and humans were cattle. He's been recruiting others who think like him. Younger bloodlines mostly. Ones who resent the restrictions. If he kills me and seizes power, the first thing he'll do is dismantle the protections. It will be a bloodbath, Thea. Quite literally. Thea's mind struggles to process the scale of what he's describing. But surely someone else would stop him. The council you mentioned. The council is slow to act. By the time they convene and reach a decision, Vincent could kill thousands. He needs to be dealt with now. Tonight. Adrian turns to face her fully. Which is where you come in. Me? Her voice cracks. What can I possibly do? I'm human. I'm nobody. I can't. You already did the hardest part. You warned me. But now I need you to do something else. His expression is serious, almost gentle. I need you to go back down to that gala. I need you to resume your shift like nothing happened. And when Vincent inevitably approaches you, because he will, Thea, he'll have noticed you talking to me, he'll be curious. I need you to be terrified. I need you to tell him that Adrian Castellane is insane, that he threatened you, that you barely escaped. Can you do that? Terror floods her system. He'll kill me. If he knows I hurt him, he won't kill you if he thinks you're useful. If he believes you're frightened of me, he'll try to recruit you. Use you to get close to me. He'll offer you money, protection, whatever he thinks will work. And you're going to accept. You want me to spy on him, Thea says slowly. I want you to survive, Adrian corrects. Vincent already knows you overheard something. He's not stupid, and you've been watching him all night. Your only chance is to make him believe you're on his side. Let him think he's manipulating you. And while he's focused on you, I'll be gathering evidence to present to the council. With proof of his intentions, I can have him removed legally, permanently. And if he figures out I'm lying, then I'll kill him before he touches you. The casual way Adrian says it, like he's promising to pick up milk from the store, should terrify her. Instead, she feels something else. Something warm and dangerous unfurling in her chest. Why me? She asks quietly. Why not use one of your people? Someone who knows what they're doing? Adrian's hand comes up to cup her cheek. His palm is cool, but not unpleasant. Because Vincent will never see you coming. You're human, young, broke, desperate. Everything he thinks he can exploit. He won't waste time suspecting you of subterfuge, because he doesn't believe humans are capable of outsmarting vampires. Are we? His smile is slow and devastating. You already did, Thea. You heard his plan, understood its significance, and brought it to me. That takes intelligence and courage. 2 things Vincent has never valued. His thumb brushes across her cheekbone. Besides, you asked me why I care about a waitress who dropped a glass. Let me ask you something. Do you know what I heard when you fell? She shakes her head mutely. I heard your heart racing, not with fear of consequences or embarrassment, with exhaustion, bone-deep, soul-crushing exhaustion. I heard the slight wheeze in your breathing that suggests you haven't been able to afford your asthma medication in weeks. I noticed the way you favored your right foot, blisters from shoes that don't fit properly. I saw the medical bills peeking out of your bag when you set it down, and I realized that you're drowning, Thea Morrison. You're drowning, and you're still trying to save other people. Her eyes burn. Don't, she whispers. Don't be nice to me. I can't. I'm not being nice. I'm being honest. He leans closer, and she can smell that cedar and winter scent again. Vincent is a monster who sees humans as food. I'm a monster who sees humans as worth protecting. We're both predators, Thea. But you get to choose which predator you trust. The weight of the decision crushes her. Go back down there. Lie to a vampire who wants to murder his way to power. Become bait in a game she doesn't understand, with stakes she can barely comprehend. Or walk away. Go back to her crumbling apartment and mounting debt and the slow suffocation of poverty. Not really a choice at all, when she thinks about it. If I do this, Thea says slowly, I need something from you. Interest flickers across Adrian's face. Name it. My mother, before she died, she had a nurse, Philippa. She was kind to us when no one else was. She's raising her grandson alone now, and she's about to lose her apartment because the landlord doubled the rent. I need you to help her, get her somewhere safe, somewhere she can afford. Adrian stares at her for a long moment. Then he laughs, a genuine, surprised sound. You're negotiating with a vampire king while potentially walking into a death trap? And your demand is housing for a woman you barely know? She was good to us, Thea says simply. She deserves better. Yes, Adrian says softly. She does. Consider it done. Anything else? Thea hesitates. If I die doing this, I don't want to die alone. I want you to be there. Even if I don't make sense at the end, even if I'm scared, I want someone to care that I'm gone. Something cracks in Adrian's carefully controlled expression. He pulls her close, one hand cradling the back of her head, and for a moment they just stand there, her face pressed against his chest, his chin resting on her hair. You're not going to die, he says, and there's steel in his voice now. I won't allow it. Do you understand me, Thea? I have lived through wars and plagues and the fall of empires, and I promise you, I will not let Vincent Harrow add your name to his list of victims. She should find this possessive declaration alarming. She should pull away, insist on her independence, refuse to be another thing this immortal being decides to protect. Instead, she lets herself be held. Just for a moment. Just long enough to remember what it feels like to be safe. Then she steps back, squaring her shoulders. Okay, she says. Tell me what to do. The gala is still in full swing when Thea returns. She's cleaned the blood from her palm. The cut has mysteriously stopped hurting, and she suspects the knot wine Adrian gave her has something to do with it, and composed herself as much as possible. Her hands only shake a little. She picks up a tray of champagne flutes and begins circulating. Nobody acknowledges her return. To them, she's invisible, just another server, another piece of moving furniture. She's refilling glasses near the bar when she feels eyes on her back. Turning slightly, she sees Vincent Harrow watching her from across the room. He's younger than Adrian, or at least looks younger, she corrects herself, since age apparently means nothing to vampires. Handsome in a polished, practiced way. Sandy hair, warm brown eyes, the kind of smile that probably made him very popular in whatever century he was born. He's making his way toward her. Thea's pulse kicks up. She forces herself to stay calm, to remember Adrian's instructions. Terrified, confused, barely escaped. "Excuse me," Vincent says, his voice smooth as expensive scotch. "I don't believe we've met. I'm Vincent Harrow." Thea makes herself flinch at his approach. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to finish my shift. I don't want any trouble." "Trouble?" His smile widens, but doesn't reach his eyes. "Why would there be trouble? I just wanted to check on you. I saw you speaking with Mr. Castellane earlier. He seemed quite intense. I hope he didn't upset you." "I don't want to talk about it," Thea says quickly, looking around like she's checking for witnesses. "Please, I just need this job. I can't—" "Hey!" Vincent's hand touches her elbow gently. "It's okay. You're safe. Adrian can be overwhelming, I know, especially to— forgive me, but especially to people who aren't used to his world. Did he threaten you?" Thea lets her eyes fill with tears. "It's not hard. The adrenaline coursing through her system does half the work. He said things that didn't make sense, crazy things, about blood and territories, and I don't know what he wanted from me, but he scared me. He scared me so much." Vincent's expression shifts to concern, but there's something calculating in his gaze. What did you tell him exactly, before he started saying these things? This is it. The moment where she either sells the lie, or dies trying. "I told him I'd overheard something," Thea whispers. "A conversation, about someone planning to hurt him. I thought I was doing the right thing, warning him. But then he got so intense, like he was angry at me for knowing, and—" She breaks off, letting a sob escape. "I'm so stupid. I should have kept my mouth shut." Vincent is quiet for a moment, studying her. Thea can feel him weighing her words, testing them for truth. She focuses on her genuine fear, on the very real danger she's in, and lets it show on her face. Finally, Vincent's hand squeezes her elbow. "You're not stupid. You're kind. That's rare in this city." He glances around, then lowers his voice. "Listen, Thea. It is Thea, isn't it? I can tell you're in over your head here, and I think I can help. But not here. Are you free after your shift? There's a coffee shop 2 blocks down, stays open late. Meet me there in an hour, and I promise I'll explain everything." Thea hesitates just long enough to seem genuine. "I don't know. Please, I think you stumbled into something dangerous, and I don't want to see you get hurt because of it. Adrian, he's not well. He hasn't been for a long time. And if you really did overhear what I think you did, then you need protection. Real protection, from someone who understands what you're dealing with." It's almost impressive how sincere he sounds. If Thea didn't know better, she'd believe every word. "1 hour, she agrees finally, "but I can't stay long." "I understand. 1 hour. I'll be waiting." He releases her elbow and disappears back into the crowd. Thea exhales slowly, her heart hammering against her ribs. She made it through the first test. Now comes the hard part. The coffee shop is called Moonbeam, which Thea would find hilarious under different circumstances. At 11:30 at night, it's populated by insomniacs, students, and a few people who look like they've been awake for several days straight. Vincent is waiting at a corner table, 2 cups already in front of him. He stands when Thea enters, pulling out a chair for her with old-fashioned courtesy. "I ordered you a vanilla latte," he says, "but if you prefer something else, that's fine. Thank you." Thea sits, wrapping her hands around the warm cup. The heat feels real, grounding. She needs that right now. Vincent settles across from her, his expression gentle. "I imagine you have questions." "I have a lot of questions," Thea says. "Starting with why Adrian Castellane thinks he's—" She pauses, like she can't bring herself to say it. "A vampire?" Vincent supplies quietly. Thea's eyes widen, You know? I know he believes it, very strongly believes it. Vincent sighs, running a hand through his hair. Thea, what I'm about to tell you is going to sound insane. But I need you to trust me, okay? Adrian is suffering from a very specific delusion. He's convinced himself, and a number of other people, that vampires are real, and that he's their king. It's a shared psychosis, essentially. Everyone in his inner circle reinforces the fantasy. But he showed me his eyes changed and his teeth, contact lenses and cosmetic dental work, Vincent says smoothly. I know it looked real. That's the point. These people have invested significant time and money into maintaining the illusion. It's like a cult, Thea. And Adrian is at the center of it. Thea lets confusion and fear play across her face. Why would anyone do that? Power, control, money. Vincent leans forward. Adrian comes from wealth. Old money, the kind that goes back generations. Somewhere along the way, he became obsessed with the romantic idea of vampires. Immortality, strength, ruling in the shadows. He built an entire empire around this fantasy, and now there are people whose livelihoods depend on maintaining it. They'll do anything to protect the illusion, including silence anyone who threatens to expose it. You mean kill them, Thea whispers. I mean make them disappear, yes. Vincent's hand covers hers on the table. That's why I'm worried about you, Thea. You heard something you shouldn't have. Presumably my attempt to intervene and get Adrian help before he hurts himself or others. If Adrian thinks you're going to expose his delusion, he'll have you eliminated. These people don't mess around. It's a brilliant cover story. If Thea didn't know the truth, she'd probably believe him. He's offering her a rational explanation for the impossible things she's seen, a way to make sense of the insanity. What am I supposed to do? She asks, letting her voice break. I can't. I don't have money for lawyers or protection or... You don't need money. You need allies. Vincent's grip on her hand tightens. I've been working to build a case to get Adrian the help he needs, but it's difficult when everyone around him reinforces his delusions. What I need is someone on the inside, someone who can document his behavior, gather evidence, someone he trusts. Thea stares at him. You want me to spy on him? I want you to help save him, Vincent corrects. And save yourself in the process, because right now, Thea, you're a loose end. And Adrian doesn't leave loose ends alive. The irony isn't lost on her. Vincent is warning her about the exact danger he himself poses, just reframing it to serve his purposes. If I do this, Thea says slowly, what happens to me after? I can't go back to my normal life if these people come after me. If you help me, I'll make sure you're protected. New identity, if necessary. Financial support to get you back on your feet. Vincent's eyes bore into hers. I know this is a lot to ask, but you seem like someone who does the right thing, even when it's hard. That's why I'm asking you. Thea doesn't have to fake the tears that spill down her cheeks. The weight of what she's doing, lying to a monster, gambling with her life, crashes over her. I'm so scared, she whispers, and it's the truest thing she's said all night. I know, Vincent says, but I promise, Thea, I won't let anything happen to you. You have my word. The word of a vampire who wants to start a war. The word of a creature who sees her as nothing but a tool. Okay, Thea says. Tell me what you need me to do. 3 days later, Vincent sends her a package with instructions to plant surveillance equipment in Adrian's office. Thea contacts Adrian immediately, and they turn Vincent's plan against him, modifying the device to broadcast to Adrian's secure server as well. When Thea arrives at Adrian's office building that evening, security waves her through. Mr. Castellane is expecting you, the guard says. Floor 42, executive suite. Adrian is at his desk when she enters, but his face softens when he sees her. Right on time, he says. Close the door. She does. Vincent's package. Should I set it on the desk? Adrian comes around to stand beside her, his hand finding the small of her back. The touch grounds her. You did well, reaching out immediately. Vincent's impatient. He wants to move faster than I anticipated. Is that bad? It's revealing. He's scared I'm onto him. Adrian opens the package carefully. Inside is a sophisticated surveillance device. A woman emerges from the shadows near the window. Isla, Adrian's second in command, who looks about 16 but has eyes like chips of ancient ice. Already traced it, Isla says, examining the device. Give me 12 hours and I'll have the server location and everyone who has access. We're going to modify it, Adrian explains to Thea. Make it broadcast to us as well as Vincent. Then you continue playing the scared little spy, and we listen to everything Vincent says. Eventually, he'll slip up. That puts me at more risk, Thea points out. Yes, Adrian says. Which is why I'm not asking you to do it unless you're absolutely certain. Thea looks between them. I'm already in this. Might as well make it count. Over the next hour, Isla modifies the device while explaining the technical details. Vincent will see what he expects, she says. Adrian working late, being generally king-like and boring. Meanwhile, we get full access to anything Vincent says or does while monitoring the feed. When the device is ready, Adrian plants it himself, then pulls Thea aside. This is going to move quickly now, he says quietly. Vincent will watch the feed, think he's gaining intelligence, and get bolder. Within a week, maybe less, he'll make his move. Are you ready for that? No, Thea admits, but I'll do it anyway. Adrian's hand cups her cheek. I meant what I said. If this becomes too dangerous, if at any point you want out, you say the word. I'll protect you regardless. I know. She leans into his touch. That's why I trust you. He kisses her forehead, a gesture so tender it makes her chest ache. Go home. Get some rest. And Thea? If anything feels wrong, anything at all, you call me immediately. Understood? Yes. Say it. Say you'll call me if anything feels wrong. I'll call you if anything feels wrong. She manages a shaky smile. You're very bossy for someone who claims not to want to be king. I'm bossy because I care, Adrian corrects. There's a difference. 5 days after planting the device, everything comes to a head. Isla intercepts a message. Vincent has called a summit of the Vampire Council, claiming he has evidence of Adrian's unfitness to rule. He's showing doctored recordings, Isla reports, pulling up files. Edited footage of you supposedly confessing to crimes. He's been building this case for months. What do we do? Thea asks. We go to the summit, Adrian says. We let Vincent present his evidence, and then we present you. Me? A human witness who can testify to Vincent's actual plans. The council can't dismiss human testimony as easily as surveillance footage. Adrian's eyes are intense. But there's a catch. I need to put you under formal protection. It's a blood bond, a ritual that will link you to my bloodline. Any vampire who harms you becomes an enemy of my entire house. It's the only way to guarantee your safety. What does it involve? I share a small amount of my blood with you. Not enough to turn you, but enough to create a permanent connection. You'll heal faster, live longer, be resistant to vampire compulsion, and you'll be able to sense my emotions. Thea doesn't hesitate. Do it. You're sure? It's permanent, Thea. There's no going back. I'm sure. Let's stop Vincent. The summit takes place in an underground chamber beneath Seattle's oldest church. 9 council members gather, ancient vampires representing different territories. Vincent is already there, confident and poised. The proceedings begin. Vincent presents his fabricated evidence with perfect sincerity, recordings of Adrian supposedly confessing to breaking treaties, planning attacks, killing humans. Adrian has served honorably for centuries, Vincent concludes, but I believe the weight of his years has compromised his judgment. He's become paranoid, unstable. Then Adrian stands. Everything Vincent showed you is fabricated. I have a human witness who overheard Vincent's actual plans. Thea Morrison, please stand. Thea rises, feeling the weight of every ancient gaze. My name is Thea Morrison, she begins, her voice shaking but clear. 3 weeks ago, I overheard Vincent Harrow planning to assassinate Adrian Castellane. She tells them everything. The conversation she overheard, Vincent's recruitment attempt, his lies about Adrian being delusional. The council questions her relentlessly, listening to her heartbeat, watching for deception. But Thea's telling the truth, and it bleeds through every word. Finally, the council leader, an ancient vampire named Desmond, raises his hand for silence. The council will deliberate. They're ushered to an anteroom. The moment the door closes, Vincent rounds on Adrian. You think one human's word is worth more than all your fabricated evidence, Adrian finishes coldly. Vincent moves toward Thea with inhuman speed. He doesn't make it. Adrian intercepts him, the two vampires colliding with bone-crushing force. Touch her and you'll have the war you want, Adrian says, his voice lethal. The door opens. The council has reached a verdict, Isla announces. Back in the chamber, Desmond stands. We find Vincent Harrow's accusations fabricated and malicious. Furthermore, we find credible evidence that Vincent was planning assassination and coup. Vincent Harrow, you are stripped of your territory and titles. You are hereby exiled. If found within our borders after sunset tomorrow, you will be executed. Vincent's face goes white with rage. You're making a mistake. All of you. Enough, another council member says. Accept your exile with dignity. Vincent laughs, cold and bitter. Fine, but mark my words, this isn't over. That human has painted a target on both your backs. Then let them come, Adrian says quietly. I've held this position for 600 years. I can hold it longer. Guards escort Vincent out. When he's gone, Desmond approaches Adrian. That was closer than I'd like. If your human hadn't testified, he shakes his head. You owe her a great debt. I'm aware, Adrian says, which is why I'm invoking the protection right. The ritual is simple, but profound. Adrian produces a ceremonial knife and makes a shallow cut on his palm, then does the same to Thea's. He presses their hands together. Thea Morrison, he says formally, I claim you under the protection of House Castellane. Let all who bear witness know that to harm you is to declare war on my bloodline. From this day until your death, you are mine to protect. Heat floods through Thea's arm, not painful, but intense. The connection forms between them, subtle but present. She can feel Adrian's emotions now. Relief, fierce protectiveness, something deeper he's trying to hide. It's done, Desmond announces. So witnessed, so bound. Later that night, back at Adrian's warehouse, Thea stands by the windows looking out at the city. Adrian joins her, handing her a glass of actual wine this time. What happens now? She asks. Now? Adrian's hand finds hers. Now we figure out how a 600-year-old vampire and a 27-year-old human build something real despite impossible odds. I like the sound of that. So do I. He turns her to face him. You're going to break my heart someday, Thea Morrison. When time takes you, and I'm left behind. Then we make the time we have count, she says. Every single moment. Adrian kisses her then, properly, thoroughly, pouring 600 years of loneliness into the connection between them. When they break apart, both are breathless. I meant what I said at the summit, Adrian murmurs. You're mine to protect. But more than that, you're mine to love, if you'll have me. A vampire king who defeats assassination plots and makes grand declarations? Thea smiles. Could do worse. Could do far worse, Adrian agrees, pulling her close. Outside, Seattle gleams in the darkness, a city where monsters and humans coexist, where a waitress who dropped a glass became a vampire king's salvation, where love blooms despite impossible odds. Thea rests her head against Adrian's chest, listening to the steady silence where a heartbeat should be, and knows she's exactly where she belongs, in the arms of a monster who learned to be human again. in the protection of a king who chose her above all others, in a love that will last as long as her brief, brilliant human life allows, and in his memory, forever after. The peace lasts exactly 9 days. Thea is at Adrian's warehouse, their warehouse now, she supposes, since she's spent every night here since the summit, when her phone rings. Unknown number. She almost doesn't answer, but something makes her swipe to accept. Thea Morrison? A woman's voice, clipped and professional. Yes? This is Detective Sarah Chen with Seattle PD. I need you to come down to the station. We have some questions about your employer, Adrian Castellane. Thea's blood turns to ice. Questions about what? I'd prefer to discuss this in person. How soon can you be here? What is this about? Ms. Morrison. 3 young women have gone missing in the past month. All of them were last seen at establishments owned by the Castellane Group. We're interviewing all employees. This is routine, but it's also urgent. Can you come in today? Thea's mind races. 3 women. Missing. She glances at Adrian, who's across the room working on his laptop. He's already looking at her, his preternatural hearing having caught every word. I'll be there in an hour, Thea says. She hangs up. Adrian is already standing, his expression dark. Vincent, he says flatly. This is Vincent. He's exiled. He can absolutely orchestrate something like this from outside our territory. Plant evidence, manipulate human authorities, frame me for crimes I didn't commit. Adrian's jaw clenches. It's brilliant, actually. The council won't intervene in human legal matters. If the police build a case against me, I'm on my own. But you didn't do anything, Thea says. You have alibis. You can prove... Can I? Adrian crosses to her, taking her hands. Thea, I'm a vampire. I move through the world, leaving minimal traces. I conduct business at night. I have access to every property where these women disappeared. And if Vincent planted the right evidence, blood, DNA, surveillance footage edited to show me with them, I'll look guilty to any human investigator. Then we find the real evidence. We prove it was Vincent. Vincent is gone, exiled beyond our reach, but his associates aren't. Adrian pulls out his phone, texting rapidly. Isla, I need you to find out everything about these missing women. Names, last known locations, connections to Vincent's network, and I need it in the next 3 hours. Thea's phone buzzes. Another text from Detective Chen with the precinct address. I have to go, Thea says. If I don't show up, it looks suspicious. I know. Adrian cups her face. Listen to me carefully. Tell them the truth, that you work for me, that you've never seen anything suspicious. Don't embellish. Don't try to defend me too aggressively. Just be honest. The blood bond will help you stay calm, but you need to be careful. If they think you're covering for me, they'll suspect me too, Thea finishes. I understand. I'll have a lawyer meet you there, Miranda Volkoff, one of the best defense attorneys in the city. She knows what I am. And she's helped vampires navigate human legal systems for decades. Don't answer any questions without her present. Adrian, if this goes badly, if they arrest you, then you stay safe. That's all I care about. He kisses her forehead. I've survived 600 years, Thea. I'll survive this. But Thea hears the uncertainty beneath his confidence. For the first time since she's known him, Adrian Castellane looks genuinely afraid. The precinct is exactly what Thea expected. Fluorescent lights, tired cops, the smell of bad coffee and stress. Detective Chen is a woman in her 40s with sharp eyes and an expression that suggests she's seen every lie humanity has to offer. Ms. Morrison, thank you for coming in. She gestures to a conference room. This is Detective Park, my partner. And you've brought representation? Miranda Volkoff is already there, a striking woman with silver hair and the kind of presence that commands immediate respect. Miranda Volkoff, Ms. Morrison's attorney. Before we begin, I'd like to understand what my client is being questioned about. Detective Chen spreads photos across the table. 3 young women, all in their 20s, all beautiful. Kendra Walsh disappeared 4 weeks ago after her shift at the Crimson Rose Hotel. Maya Patel vanished 3 weeks ago, last seen at Castellane Industries headquarters delivering documents. Sienna Brooks missing 2 weeks ago, worked as a server at another Castellane property. Thea's stomach drops. All 3 worked for Adrian's companies. We've been investigating Adrian Castellane, Detective Park says, and the more we dig, the more concerning things become. Witnesses place him at or near the locations where each woman disappeared. Security footage shows him interacting with 2 of them, and forensic evidence found at Ms. Walsh's apartment includes blood that matches Mr. Castellane's DNA profile. That's impossible, Thea says before she can stop herself. Adrian wouldn't what? Detective Chen leans forward. Ms. Morrison, you've worked for Mr. Castellane for less than 2 weeks according to our records. Before that, you were a waitress struggling to make ends meet. Now you're living at one of his properties, wearing designer clothes, and acting as his personal assistant. That's quite a rapid promotion. The implication is clear and ugly. Thea feels heat rise to her cheeks. My client's employment history isn't relevant to your investigation, Miranda interjects smoothly. Do you have specific questions, or are you simply fishing? We're trying to understand Mr. Castellane's relationship with his employees, Detective Park says, particularly young, vulnerable women. Ms. Morrison, has Mr. Castellane ever made you uncomfortable? Ever suggested or asked for anything inappropriate? No, never. Thea's voice is firm. Adrian has been nothing but professional and respectful. Even though you're living with him? In a separate room, in a building with multiple security personnel and staff. Detective, I understand how this looks, but you're wrong about Adrian. He's not. He wouldn't hurt these women. Then where are they? Detective Chen's voice is hard. 3 women, Ms. Morrison. 3 families desperate for answers, and all roads lead to Adrian Castellane. Thea wants to scream that it's Vincent, that there's a conspiracy, that vampires are real, and one of them is framing Adrian for revenge, but she can't. Any of that would make her sound insane and make everything worse. I don't know where they are, Thea says quietly, but I know Adrian didn't hurt them. I'd stake my life on it. You might be doing exactly that, Detective Park says. Ms. Morrison, if you know something, if you're protecting him out of fear or misplaced loyalty, now is the time to tell us, before someone else gets hurt. The interview continues for another hour. Questions about Adrian's schedule, his behavior, his associates. Thea answers everything honestly, while revealing nothing that would expose the vampire world. It's a delicate balance, and by the end, she's exhausted. Finally, Miranda stands. Unless you're charging my client with something, we're done here. Detective Chen hands Thea a card. If you think of anything else, or if you need help getting away from Mr. Castellane, call me, day or night. Outside the precinct, Miranda guides Thea to a sleek black car. You did well, the lawyer says once they're moving. You stayed calm, didn't volunteer information, didn't lie. That's exactly what we needed. But they think Adrian did this, Thea says. They're building a case against him. Yes, and it's a good case, which means Vincent's people are very thorough. Miranda navigates through traffic with practiced ease. Adrian told me to take you somewhere safe while Isla investigates. There's a property outside the city, warded, secure. You'll stay there until we figure out what's really happening. I'm not hiding while Adrian deals with this alone. You're not hiding. You're staying alive so Adrian can focus on clearing his name instead of worrying about Vincent's associates coming after you. Miranda's voice is firm but not unkind. Trust me, Thea. This is about to get very ugly, very fast. She's right. Within hours, the story breaks on local news. Tech CEO Adrian Castellane under investigation in missing persons case. The coverage is brutal. Speculation about his wealth protecting him, comparisons to other powerful men who've evaded justice, demands for his immediate arrest. Thea watches from the safe house, a converted farmhouse 30 miles outside Seattle. Isla is there too, working on 3 laptops simultaneously, tracking digital footprints and security footage. Found something, Isla announces. Maya Patel, the second victim. She didn't disappear randomly. She was targeted. Look at this. She pulls up bank records. 3 days before Maya vanished, she received a wire transfer for $10,000. The source account is buried under shell companies, but I traced it back to one of Vincent's known financial networks. He paid her? Thea moves closer to look at the screen. Or paid someone pretending to be her. Maya was in debt, desperate, easy to manipulate. My guess? Vincent's people approached her, offered money to disappear for a few weeks, and let them use her identity to frame Adrian. They probably promised she'd be safe, paid well, that she just had to lie low. But she's actually missing, Thea says, dread settling in her stomach. She's actually dead, Isla corrects grimly. All 3 of them are. Vincent wouldn't leave loose ends. He paid them, used them, then eliminated them. And now he's using their disappearances to destroy Adrian through human law enforcement. Thea feels sick. Those women, they were just trying to survive. Like me. And Vincent killed them to get to Adrian. Yes, Isla's voice is flat. That's what Vincent does. He uses humans like tools and discards them when they're no longer useful. It's why Adrian's laws exist, to protect your kind from vampires like him. Can we prove any of this? The wire transfers? The connections to Vincent? Prove it to the council. Yes. Prove it to human police. Isla shakes her head. Not in a way they'd accept. The evidence chain involves vampire financial networks, offshore accounts, and witnesses who are now dead. And even if we could explain it, we'd have to expose our existence to do it. So Adrian just has to take the fall? Go to prison for murders he didn't commit? Adrian won't go to prison, Isla says. He'll disappear before that happens. New identity, new territory. The council will help him relocate. And leave Seattle? Leave everything he's built? Thea's chest tightens. Leave me? Isla finally looks up from her screens. Her ancient eyes are surprisingly kind. You could go with him. The blood bond makes you part of his household. Where he goes, you're welcome. But I'd have to leave too. My whole life. Everything I know. Was that really so great? Isla's question is blunt but not cruel. Drowning in debt, working 3 jobs, watching your mother die because you couldn't afford better care? Adrian can give you a different life, Thea. Safety, security, purpose. Yes, you'd have to leave Seattle, but what are you really losing? Thea wants to argue, wants to say she has friends, connections, roots. But the truth is, Isla's right. Her old life was barely a life at all. It was survival, exhausting, and desperate and lonely. It doesn't matter what I want, Thea says finally. What matters is stopping Vincent. Those 3 women deserve justice, and Adrian deserves to clear his name. There has to be a way. There might be, a new voice says from the doorway. Adrian stands there and Thea's heart leaps. She's across the room in seconds, throwing herself into his arms. He holds her tight, his face buried in her hair. You shouldn't be here, Isla says. If the police are watching, they are. I lost them. Adrian releases Thea reluctantly. I know where the bodies are. Silence falls like a stone. How? Isla demands. Because I know Vincent. I know how he thinks. He wouldn't dump the bodies randomly. He'd put them somewhere that would eventually point back to me. Somewhere with just enough connection to be damning, but not so obvious it seems planted. Adrian moves to the window, staring out at the darkness. There's a property in my portfolio. An old warehouse scheduled for demolition next month. It's been empty for years, minimal security, perfect for disposing of evidence. You think the bodies are there? Thea says. I know they are. I can feel it. Vincent wants them found eventually, just not yet. He's waiting for the investigation to build, for public pressure to mount, for the police to get a warrant for all my properties. Then they'll discover the bodies, and I'll have no defense. So we find them first, Thea says. We call in an anonymous tip, let the police discover them on their own terms. Once the bodies are recovered, maybe there's forensic evidence that points away from you. Or evidence that Vincent carefully planted to point directly at me, Adrian counters. DNA, fingerprints, fibers from my clothing. He's had weeks to stage the scene perfectly. Then what do we do? Thea's voice breaks. We can't just let this happen. Adrian turns to face her. His expression is resolved, and Thea realizes with dawning horror what he's about to say. I'm going to confess. What? No. Thea moves toward him, but he holds up a hand. Not to the murders. To what I really am. I'm going to tell Detective Chen and the human authorities that vampires exist, that Vincent Harrow is the real killer, that this entire situation is a supernatural conspiracy. Adrian's smile is bitter. They'll think I'm insane. They'll mandate psychological evaluation. And that will buy us time. Time for the council to track down Vincent. Time for Isla to gather evidence that might actually prove my innocence. I'll be in a psychiatric facility instead of a jail cell, which gives us more options. They'll destroy you, Thea says. Your reputation, your companies, everything you've built, can be rebuilt. Those 3 women can't be brought back to life. Adrian's voice is firm, and I won't let their deaths go unanswered. If my confession gives the council the time they need to find Vincent and make him pay, it's worth it. There's another option, Isla says quietly. A worse option, but an option. Everyone turns to look at her. We make Thea the witness Vincent couldn't account for. We have her discover the bodies, call it in as a tip. She's already on police radar as Adrian's employee. They'll question her thoroughly. And she tells them about a man she saw near the warehouse. A man who matches Vincent's description. We create reasonable doubt, point the investigation in a different direction. That puts Thea in danger, Adrian says immediately. Vincent's remaining associates will know she's interfering. They'll come after her. They'll come after her anyway, Isla points out. She's bonded to you. She's already a target. At least this way, she's a target who's actively helping clear your name. Thea's mind races. Both options are terrible. Both risk everything. But Isla's plan has one advantage. It keeps Adrian out of custody, keeps him free to hunt Vincent himself. I'll do it, Thea says. I'll be the witness. Absolutely not, Adrian says. Yes. Thea takes his hands. Listen to me. You've spent 600 years protecting humans. Let me protect you. Just this once. Let me be the one who saves you instead of the other way around. Thea, if something happens to you, then you'll avenge me. Thoroughly, violently, in ways that will make Vincent regret every choice he's ever made. She squeezes his hands. But nothing's going to happen, because I'll have you watching over me. The blood bond goes both ways, remember? You'll know if I'm in danger. You'll feel it. Adrian closes his eyes. She can feel his emotions through the bond. Fear and pride and love so intense, it almost hurts. When he opens his eyes again, they're resigned. If we do this, we do it right. Full protection detail. Isla stays with you at all times. And the moment, the second, anything feels wrong, you get out. Understood? Understood. I mean it, Thea. I'm not losing you. Not to Vincent, not to his revenge, not to anything. You're not losing me, Thea promises. I'm yours to protect, remember? And you're mine. We save each other. The next morning, Thea calls in the tip. Anonymous call to the police hotline, reporting suspicious activity at the warehouse address Adrian provided. Voice shaking with perfectly calculated fear as she describes seeing someone leaving the building in the middle of the night, carrying what looked like large wrapped bundles. 6 hours later, the news breaks. 3 bodies found in abandoned Castellane warehouse. Victims identified as the missing women. Cause of death, exsanguination. The media goes insane. Detective Chen calls Thea's phone within the hour. Ms. Morrison, I need you to come in. Now. This time, Thea goes alone. No Miranda, no protection. Just her and the truth she's about to tell. She sits in the same conference room, faces the same detectives, and takes a deep breath. I saw something, she says. 3 nights ago. I couldn't sleep, so I went for a drive. I ended up near that warehouse. I don't know why, I was just driving aimlessly. And I saw someone coming out. A man carrying something heavy wrapped in plastic. Can you describe him? Detective Park is already pulling out a sketch artist. Tall, sandy hair, expensive clothes. He moved like someone who was very sure of himself, confident, almost arrogant. She pauses. He looked right at me, made eye contact. And I've never been so scared in my life. I drove away as fast as I could. Why didn't you call this in immediately? Detective Chen's voice is sharp. Because I was terrified. Because I work for Adrian Castellane, and I thought if I said anything, it would make things worse for him. I thought maybe I was seeing things, that it was just someone dumping furniture or something innocent. Thea lets tears well up. But then the bodies were found, and I realized what I'd actually seen, and I had to say something. The questioning is intense. They want every detail. What time, what she was wearing, what kind of car she was driving, why she happened to be in that exact area at that exact time. Thea sticks to her story, adding just enough inconsistency to sound like a genuinely terrified witness rather than someone reciting a script. Finally, they bring out photos. Not of Vincent, they can't, because officially Vincent Harrow doesn't exist in any database they can access, but they show her images of various men, asking if any match who she saw. No, Thea says to each one. No, not him. No, wait. She points to a random photo, then shakes her head. No, sorry, the hair is similar, but not quite right. The man I saw was more polished, like old money, you know. The kind of person who looks like they own everything they touch. It's a perfect description of Vincent, and it's just vague enough that it won't lead the police directly to a suspect they can't find, but specific enough to plant doubt about Adrian's guilt. When she leaves the precinct 3 hours later, Thea is shaking with exhaustion. Isla is waiting in the car. How'd it go? I don't know. I think they believed me, or at least they believed I believe what I'm saying. Thea slumps in the passenger seat. Did it work? Did I give Adrian enough cover? The news is already walking back some of the assumptions about his guilt. New witness suggests alternate suspect. It's a start. Isla navigates through traffic. But Vincent will know. He'll know you interfered. Good, Thea says. Let him know. Let him come after me. At least then Adrian can catch him. You're either very brave or very stupid. Everyone keeps saying that. Can't I be both? Isla's smile is sharp. You're perfect for him, you know. Adrian's been alone for so long. He forgot what it was like to have someone fight beside him instead of behind him. Thea's phone rings. Adrian. Are you safe? His voice is tight with barely controlled emotion. I'm safe. With Isla. On our way back to the farmhouse. The police are backing off. My lawyers are pushing back hard, demanding evidence, threatening lawsuits. Between your testimony and the lack of physical evidence tying me to the scene, they're losing their case. He exhales slowly. You did it, Thea. You bought us the time we needed. Did Isla find Vincent? The council did. He's been hiding in Vancouver, coordinating everything remotely. They're moving to apprehend him tonight. By tomorrow morning, this will be over. Relief floods through Thea so intensely she almost sobs. It's really over? It's really over. Come home, Thea. Come back to me. By the time Thea returns to the warehouse, night has fallen and Adrian is waiting. She walks into his arms without a word, and he holds her like she's the only solid thing in a shifting world. I'm so proud of you, he murmurs into her hair. So incredibly proud. You faced down police interrogation, lied to protect me, put yourself in Vincent's crosshairs, all without flinching. You're extraordinary. I was terrified the entire time, Thea admits. Bravery isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite it. Adrian pulls back just enough to look at her. The council has Vincent. He's facing execution for breaking exile, orchestrating the deaths of 3 humans, and attempting to frame a king. It's over, Thea. We're safe. Those women, though. Kendra and Maya and Sienna. They're still dead. I know. Adrian's expression darkens. Their families will get closure now. The police will find evidence pointing to Vincent's human accomplices. Isla's making sure of that. It won't bring them back, but it's something. And you? Your reputation? Will recover. It always does. Humans have short memories for scandals when the next crisis comes along. He touches her face gently. But more importantly, I have you. And for the first time in 600 years, that feels like enough. Thea kisses him then, pouring everything into it. Relief and love and the bone-deep knowledge that she chose right. That this vampire king, with his careful protection of humanity and his tragic loneliness, was worth fighting for. When they break apart, Adrian's eyes are bright. "Stay with me," he says. "Not just tonight, not just until this blows over. Stay with me, Thea Morrison. Build a life here, in this world between darkness and light. Let me show you everything. Centuries of art and music and places humans have forgotten. Let me give you the life you deserve." "What about when I get old?" Thea asks. "When I'm 70 and gray and you still look like this? Then I'll be a very fortunate vampire with a very beautiful, very wise partner who's seen enough of life to know what matters." Adrian's smile is soft. "I'm not asking you to become like me, Thea. I'm asking you to stay human, stay bright, stay exactly who you are, for however long you have. And then," his voice catches, "and then I'll grieve you properly, and I'll remember you forever, and I'll count myself blessed to have known you at all." Thea thinks about her old life, the debt, the exhaustion, the grinding poverty. She thinks about her mother's death, about being utterly alone in a city that didn't care if she lived or died. And then she thinks about this, about Adrian's warehouse full of books and art, about Isla's caustic friendship, about a world of vampires and councils and politics she's only beginning to understand, about having purpose beyond mere survival, about being seen, truly seen, by someone who's spent 6 centuries learning to recognize what's precious. "Yes," she says simply. "I'll stay." Adrian's smile could light the darkness. He lifts her effortlessly, spinning her in a circle, and for a moment he looks young and joyful and utterly human. When he sets her down, his forehead rests against hers. "Thank you," he whispers. "Thank you for dropping that glass. Thank you for being brave. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for catching it," Thea whispers back, "and for catching me." Outside, Seattle glows in the night. The city moves on, oblivious to the drama that just played out in its shadows. 3 women will be laid to rest, their killer brought to justice, or vampire justice, which is swifter and more final. The scandal around Adrian Castellane will fade, replaced by new headlines, new crises. But here, in this converted warehouse, a waitress who stumbled into an impossible world, and a vampire king who'd forgotten how to hope stand together in the darkness. And for the first time in longer than either can remember, neither of them is alone. Thea Morrison and Adrian Castellane, human and vampire, mortal and immortal, bound by blood and choice, and a love that defies every rule about how these stories are supposed to end. This is their beginning.